Howdy, folks. We're here to do some diva training. I'm here with Taylor.
Hi, everyone.
We finally got Taylor in front of the camera for this. We're gonna do some coaching with Taylor with the divas. I apologize for being late. I hit some traffic and an accident. But we'll just walk through some stuff. If you haven't tuned in before, I'm Mackenzie. I've been involved here at the ranch for about 5 years. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Taylor. I'm sure everyone sees me mucking stalls every day and taking people out on guest rides, and I've just been working here for this summer.
So we're going to get back up to working with the divas. Divas did a little work a few years ago. We took them out and about, and then we're just going to renew some of their training since they haven't been worked with a ton since then. And I'm going to show Taylor just kind of like how we've approached it in the past. We're going to work on teaching them some cool stuff. They're pretty amped. They've been loving training. So without further ado, since we're already running a little bit late, I think we'll just get started. So what I'd like to do is just take them off. We can just let them be loose. Come here, you kid. We're going to work them free, also called liberty training. So since Taylor's never done any clicker training before, I'm just going to walk her through the basics. So if you've been watching, this is going to be a little old hat for you, but it's always good to review. Beautiful. So we've been just refreshing some of their cues, including their leading and their handling stuff. They also have some tricks. Gert's rear's on cue. It's a very hefty rear. Oh, what a good rear. She used to do better, but she's gotten older. I mark and reinforce for they both get a treat when I click so that they are building to like working with each other more. Whoa. That was a pretty good stop. Can you back up? You got this. It's like, I don't know. It's a little hard with mod right there. Hey, let's go forward. We like to keep training fun. Fist bump. And like high reward. Kid, you're getting some face stuff again, aren't you? This is especially helpful for when we start taking them out and about so that they start to really enjoy it. So clicker training is scientifically based. It comes out of the work of behavioral psychology. So if you know like Pavlov's bells and the drooling dogs, it's built off of that. B.F. Skinner developed it further, starting to understand the science of what drives learning. Okay, so we focus in clicker training on positive reinforcement for learning for a lot of reasons. One of them is that under duress, when animals are stressed, their ability to learn actually decreases a lot. So especially with animals that you're going to be working around kids in various environments, positive reinforcement training gets them more engaged in terms of their abilities to cope with changes, and then also they tend to think of training and work as enjoyable. Whoa! So they have more of a tendency to not have anxiety, stress, which can provoke more negative behaviors.
Do you ever move away from using so many treats and just having the clicker as a good reinforcement? Or how does that?
Fading treats is usually a question that we get really early on, people who are novice positive reinforcement trainers.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, if you grew up the way I did, it's an undue burden to have treats all the time.
Yes, I did. I don't even give my horses treats. So.
Yeah. But it's not that difficult to have some treats in your pocket. It's not a big deal. But yeah, eventually, you can start to build into more sophisticated behavior chains where multiple behaviors are happening between. And if they're all behaviors that have been taught positively, then the behaviors remain.
Gotcha.
So at first, when learning is new, or there's like something that they haven't worked on before, it's a novel context, we use a higher rate of reinforcement.
Yeah.
Then we slowly start to fade that rate of reinforcement and reward with other things like other novel behaviors. And that's actually what's driving most learning, is that kind of like fun of figuring out what's working in given time.
Have you worked more with Gertie, or does she just pick it up faster than Maud?
They're just different. They both are like tend towards different behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Gertie does learn a little bit faster, but mostly I think that's because Maud gets chased off more by Gertie. And
Gotcha.
so Maud is more interested in like attention and petting.
Yeah.
Gertie likes learning, and she's really smart. She really enjoys like the game of learning stuff, but she also gets frustrated a lot easier than Maud.
Gertie is also the one that opens gates the fastest.
Yeah, well, yeah, she figured that out. Like she figures out a lot of things. Let's try backup. Backup's kind of hard for her still. Sometimes she gets it just right off, and I got to work on like what the cueing is there. So, cool. But yeah, we can work on just like how you would fade treats. So I just got, I don't know, several behaviors from her, mostly around leading. And I've been working slowly with her on like good fading, but you know, I'm not super concerned about that right now. I'm more interested that she has positive associations with a lot of different,
absolutely.
All the training that we're doing. Okay, so let's do a little bit of work. I'll start you off from the beginning.
Okay.
I think the plan right now, just to make it easy on you, will be, let's just have you work on just timing and delivery, and I'll take one donkey, you take the other one.
Okay.
So when we first start with clicker training, the first thing that we do is we charge our clicker. That means that we're creating a neurological response to the stimuli that is the clicker. Clicker's a tool. It's not a toy. A lot of people pick it up and think of it as a toy. Mm-hmm. If you treat it like a toy, it's going to end up not working, you know, just like if you treat a hammer like a toy, right? You start using your hammer against the wall without nails, you put holes in the wall.
Gotcha.
So same thing with the clicker. Every time we click, we want to reinforce with primary reinforcer, food, sex, or water. Delivering sex and water every time you click is pretty difficult. Food, however, is easy. Whoa, kid, you don't have to chew on me. So the ways that we're going to do that is we're just going to charge it up by going click, treat. I'm doing both of them, but you'll just do Maud. And let's do like 10 or so of those. And I'll just hit Gertie every time you click. So you want to get out like a good handful of treats. Don't worry too much about behavior. Just go ahead and click and then give a treat. So again, it's click, treat. I owe Gertie 2 now. Good.
Hi.
Here you go, kid.
Come here. Come here.
Good.
Girl.
And click and treat.
Come here.
And click and treat. Good.
Oh.
And click and treat. Okay, let's pause. So some things you got to watch out for when you're doing using a marker are your marker should be the very first indicator that food's coming. So if you're super consistent about always going to wherever your treats are in the same way, that'll become the marker, right? Mm-hmm. If you're super consistent about always doing this and then clicking, this will become your marker. And that gets tricky down the line when you're trying to do more sophisticated behaviors.
Whoa.
Gertz, come here.
That was mean, huh?
Yeah, she gets a little grumpy. It's okay, kid. Let's work on our leave it behavior. Good. So make sure that when you click, you can give her a treat for that click. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, because you clicked. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean,
that's confusing.
Eventually, like that won't be a big deal, but right now, because I've been rewarding both of them from every click, I think it's a good idea to just stay consistent. Gotcha. And if you work like them away from these sessions, it'll be important to be consistent about it too, because part of what we're trying to build here is positive associations with them training together, because they'll be in closer proximity when they're working. And they have some negative associations with that already, so we want to do our due diligence on it. So just make sure that like when you're clicking, you aren't first reaching for a treat. The click happens first, then you can grab your treat.
Gotcha.
Cool. Let's do like 5 more with Maud.
I notice you're hiding your clicker. Is that?
Yeah, I'm putting it behind me just so that I'm not always consistently. It's just like I try and change where my food is coming from and where my clicker is.
They're never.
So that's not what's consistent. Is
that a trick, or is that just give me food?
Come here, you. Well, we started working on stomping at one point.
Oh, okay.
But like, I don't know. I think that's just frustration right now. Come here. So here, I'll bring Maud back over. And just see if you can do like 5 click treats right in a row.
Okay.
Good.
Good girl. This is so weird to me. I just want to love on her because
Yeah.
that's my reward.
And that can be a reward, and like grooming especially can be a
Yeah.
reward. But we know that every time a primary reinforcer like food, sex, or water is delivered, there's a dopamine response in the brain. And that's not necessarily true every time we pet, right? Especially with Gertie, for example. She takes no pleasure out of being petted at this point.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, which is something that we're working on with her. Good job, kid. Cool. So that was great. Okay, so now we're going to start teaching a game to reduce mugging
Okay.
or like food,
Yes.
diving for food.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is just try and introduce the food in a way where it's not easy for them to get to. We're ignoring it super easy, so we'll keep it up high.
Okay.
And as a reward for not going for it, we'll just click and treat. And we're going to slowly try and build up to them continuously ignoring the food to get the food as reinforcement. So again, I'm going to
Gotcha.
introduce it somewhere where it's not super easy to get to.
Okay.
If their nose moves away or if they just don't look right to
Can I
it,
give it to her?
then you can click and treat. Yep. So go ahead and like introduce it like high up, and you'll notice like Gertie's not like
She's
trying to.
looking for your pocket.
Yeah, she's like checking out other stuff, but I'm not super concerned right now. She'll figure it out.
Oh, she looked away.
Yeah, and she's really quite good with this. She's done a lot of work on it. It's the
Good
first thing we
girl.
taught her. Her leave it's a lot stronger than Gertie's. Good. So now I'm introducing open hand closer.
Good girl.
Especially if her nose moves away, I'm going to definitely click and reward that. She's
Good
thinking about checking it out, but that's
girl.
not a
That
big
was
deal.
awesome.
A lot of, very good. Did you see her head turn away there?
Yeah.
That was really good.
I'm out of treats, Maud. So.
I can reload you here in a
All
second.
right.
Good job, kid. Cool. Here's that guy that you can break up a little bit. I
Awesome.
like to just bite and treat. Here's a couple more of these guys. Here you go. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. 1 second.
I often train with like little pieces of grain too, so that we're not running low so
that's
fast,
a really smart idea.
especially when it's new. Good job, kid.
And these guys don't get any grain, so I'm sure they would appreciate.
Yeah, just a little bit isn't going to
There's-
hurt them once in a while.
Oh no, they're fatties.
Yeah. Good job. Cool. I like. She's testing out different directions. That's pretty cool to see. Gertie's killing it on the leave it today. Good job, kid. Here you go. Cool.
Ready?
Let's do 2 more clicks, and then we'll give them a little break.
Oh, my clicker broke.
Turn it around. There you go.
Girl, I'm sorry.
You're doing so good. Good job, kid.
Good girl.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
All right, we'll give them a little break, and then we can just like recap real quick. We'll go to the round pen.
Okay.
They don't really want a break, but it's good for their brains that they have moments of processing. Yeehaw! Whoa!
Maud, come on.
That's okay if they want to wander around or whatever. We're going to just give them a little
Maud
time
likes
to digest
break in
what
to
they
the-
learned.
Bonnie's stall.
That's
Okay.
You going to go sneak into Bonnie's
She
stall?
does.
Come on, kid. Yes.
Do you want me to leave this open so they can leave if they
Oh,
want?
you can just shut it. I'll
Shut
come
it?
out.
Okay.
And you and I can just recap. I'm like separating them from us so that they have some time where they're not getting frustrated about us not training. Here, go hunt these down, kid. Oh, yeah. You're going to have to go searching. Gertz will often like ignore certain food rewards just to keep training because she loves it so much. Okay, cool. So we started with charging the clicker. Then we did a little bit of leave it training to keep them from mobbing, which they're actually a lot better at than they used to be, which is pretty cool to see. They're growing up, I guess. You guys growing up? They do get a little frustrated when training ends, so I just want to... Good job. That's some really good singing, kid. I've been for a long time trying to capture the singing. Maud's better at it than Gertie is.
They see me and they sing every time.
Yep.
Yeah. They know me as
I'd like
food
them to
lady.
do it when I do a cue, though. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yes. Good. There you go. Actually, like the Days of Dunrovin members came up with that, the like conducting cue
Oh my gosh.
for singing.
Yeah,
But
they should start doing it every morning. I come in the gate. They are singing so loud. You
Yeah.
would not believe it.
Yeah.
Both of them together.
they love to sing.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't really choose it, but whatever. The important thing is that you're doing it in association with the behavior as it occurs,
Uh-huh.
and then there's some sort of reward that follows it up. So you could like have them sing to get out. But I haven't been able to get it under stimulus control. I think because it occurs so often when I'm not here,
Yeah.
just at the appearance of people.
It happens every time. Food time. They
Yeah.
know the time of the day, too. At noon.
Yeah. They also like to sing whenever I show up.
Yeah. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool role, too. We could capture that at some point, too, if she gets good at capturing. Cool. So what we're doing there is leave it training, which is just to start teaching them to be good about ignoring food to get food. And again, we're marking for their noses coming away, and we're setting them up for success by having the food somewhere where that's easy to do. As we start to move through it, we'll start to increase our criteria, which means that we'll put the food closer, right? We'll increase distraction, so having another donkey present's a good distraction. Having the food, like our food hand open. And if they ever like try and go for the food, that's not the end of the world. I mean, if you feel like they might bite your hand, definitely move it away. But our goal is to create and sustain criteria where they're having success as we raise and lower it. So
Gotcha.
what's important there is that we don't always just do food way up. We start to vary the levels so that it goes like food way up, click treat, food a little bit lower down, click treat, maybe food way up again, click treat. So it just starts to get to be variable what our criteria is. And eventually we should be able to do food down low, open hand for, an extended duration. And we'll keep working on that as we go along. But that's the basics. This is a fun one to learn with them. I thought we could do either some touch desensitization training, because Gertie definitely needs that.
Yes.
So I could show you that game, or we could do a little bit of leading with our last little bit of time.
Okay.
Whatever one you want to do.
Well, I led Gertie during the blessing.
Nice. Oh, so you saw how hard that can be?
Yeah, she drugged me.
Oh,
Twice.
really? Oh, kid. All right, well, let's do some leading then.
I think she knows she outweighs me.
Yeah. Yep. And, unfortunately, part of the thing about having donkeys trained on leading with, like, children and a lot of different people is that there's been a lot of different approaches.
Yeah.
But we've had very good success with this one, and she was at her best behavior.
Do you ever, so if she like spins around and tries to take off another way, do you ever do any kind of negative reinforcement? Like pull her around and correct her?
No,
move her
we
feet
don't.
around?
So in this form of training, we avoid punishment,
Okay.
which is that's what that'd be. Negative reinforcement is what we're doing right now, withholding food.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
absence of reinforcement is negative reinforcement.
Gotcha.
Introduction of something that is meant to decrease behavior is punishment. So it's positive punishment.
Gotcha.
Negative punishment is removal of something that is supposed to create, so it's the opposite of punishment, right? So
Okay.
you have the punisher there and then you remove it. So we work ideally mostly through positive reinforcement, although you have to withhold treats to give treats, so that's going to happen. And we're selective about how we do it. If we're not seeing the behaviors that we want to see, we look at it as a training problem, not an animal problem, right?
Okay.
So that, to me, is a sign that the animal hasn't been shown clearly enough with the right reward schedule what to do.
I'm sure she was, but I think she also has, they really haven't done a whole, I guess they used to go out a lot, but this past year they haven't been doing a whole lot.
Yeah,
since
so
I've been here.
it's just like you got to be set up for success.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why we're doing this before we start taking them out and about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we don't want them dragging anybody around in public.
Yeah,
or at all,
and Mom's
really.
looking at her like, Gertie, what's your problem?
Right. So what I'll do is I can demonstrate just like a little bit of lead training with Gertie. And then, and you saw, like, she leads for me fine off lead, and she should lead the same on lead. And that's because I've worked primarily with her on this behavior, so she has a really positive association with it with me. And while I'm doing that, You can just hang out with Maud inside
Okay.
and just try. You can give her a treat whenever I click.
Okay.
And just like, just hang out and watch what Gertie and I are doing. I'll walk you through it. Okay, Gertz.
Sounds good.
Come
here,
on
Gertie.
through. Fist bump. She's
I'll
like,
walk
why are you
in with
being so
Maud.
hesitant, silly? Yes.
There we go.
Good kid. So, and I haven't let her
Uh-oh.
I haven't had her on a halter and on a lead rope in 2.5, 3 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just FYI.
Okay.
But I expect that she'll be just as good at it here as she used to be because she still has positive associations with me leading her. So, especially because she... What, you want to go back in there with those guys?
There you don't have to work for the treats.
Yeah, she's just like, why am I not in there? We'll see. I don't know. She's stalling out, which I wasn't really expecting. So there's a variety of ways we can work on this. I've done some target training with her, which is just touch my hand. She's feeling resistant, which is okay. She's feeling a little shy. It's okay, kid. She's like, I don't want to go anywhere on a lead rope. I just got to think this through a little bit. Give me 1 second. Good. All right, so that was a quick treat just for like hanging out with me. I'm not super concerned about what behavior she's offering right now. Just definitely wants to go inside the round pen. You don't want to work? That's okay. You ain't got to work. So, hard to say. Maybe she's just got some negative associations. Good kid. With having the lead rope on, which is fine.
Oh.
And I'm just going to start reinforcing her at a high rate of reward for following really small steps, right? So she's taking her walking cues off of me right now, which is all I want to see. Especially since we had like a little stall out there. Good. So like 2 or 3 steps, reinforcement. And like I like the circling. Good. Just getting her to follow my lead. Good kid. When we finished with this training before, we definitely didn't need this level of reward schedule, but that's okay. We just go back to wherever she is. Good. And leading should just look like the same as off-lead walking, right? Nice, far back, whatever. We can do some setups where there's like something she really wants to get to, but she has to walk calmly to get there, but I wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I'd do that like after we've done some other stuff. Good. Good job. So yeah, I just want leading to be highly rewarding. And again, it starts with, the way I like to teach it, that nice pivot, turning back and forth. The criteria just being follow like my body motion, and the rewards come. It's a fun game. I like to think of it as like follow the leader. But you might have to start really low, right? Great. I'm slowly raising criteria as I go. So pivoting one way and then back, that sort of stuff. What do you think about backup? She's like, I don't know about backup. So we're definitely going to have to reteach backup. Because she just keeps stalling out for some reason. I might change the cue. Does it make sense?
It does.
So again, at first our criteria is really low. Just like a little bit of one step, one way, one step another. And especially like if the animal is kind of shut down, being resistant, like we saw earlier, I would just reinforce for just hanging out. Oh, you're letting yourself in? Good job. That's cool. That's another behavior I want to get on cue. I definitely wouldn't reward off cue. It's like, are you ready to lead? Do you want to try with Gertie or try with Maud?
I want to try with Gertie.
Okay, great. Do you got a good amount of treats?
I don't. This is my last treat. I've been nursing it.
Okay, cool. So let's get some more treats together. Come on, kid. Do you want to come in? Yeah, okay. Teach her to close gates,
I guess when
too.
I was grabbing treats initially, I didn't realize.
Hold on. Can you back it up? Look, Maud's going to get all the treats, kid. Yeah, we use a pretty high rate of reinforcement, but especially like when early on, that's an easy way to get a lot of dopamine release for the
Is this how you
behaviors.
train most dogs, too? Do you do clicker training?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, so I train dogs like similarly. It's a little bit different. You can come out. Come on. Okay. I'm just going to get a few more treats here before we get started. You can just leave her. But also pigs, goats, crows. People have trained. I've trained some hornets. You'll
Hornets?
train bees this way. Yeah. That's a lot. There's not really an animal species so far. I'm trying to remember.
What are you looking for?
I had some carrots hidden away somewhere, but I think they
Oh.
might be at MIA now.
Hey, Gertie.
We worked a lot on coming in here together because they used to be pretty nervous of surfaces.
Oh,
They're
that
very
makes
shy of
sense.
going into spaces like that. And now she's good with that, but not necessarily out and about. So we'll just get a little bit of grain to finish off. Yeah, I don't think they've met the species that can't be
Clicker train.
trained through like a behavior modification approach. Yeah, there's really just, I mean, it's based like
Oh, yeah.
that's where the science of learning has led, and it's pretty effective. It's kind of amazing. I think somebody was trying to work with some like really like protozoa or something and having success on getting behavior this way. It's pretty cool. They're also like starting to learn like, for example, dogs can count to 10. Who knew? But like it's double-blind studies are showing it now.
Yeah.
And like do basic mathematics, you know?
Yeah.
Things that like people just discredited animals from being cognitively capable of doing. Turned out we just didn't know how to ask the question appropriately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to take a crack at lead?
Yeah.
And I'll just hang out with Maud. That's some good singing, kid.
Come here, Gertie. Oh.
It'll be interesting to see how she does when the lead rope's introduced with you. So start easy again. Don't start right where I ended. Start where I began, okay?
All right.
Because we changed things up.
So hope she didn't go for this grain in my pocket here.
Yeah.
Gertie. I dropped a piece. It's going to be a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't want to pull. My natural instinct would be to pull her away from it, but
Yeah, I would just let her have it. That's going to start a fight with her.
yeah.
And so instead of trying to like trick her into doing the behavior, just see if you take a step, if she takes a step. So one way to do that, there it is. Like any little pivot that she does, mark and reinforce for it.
I did my clicker a little late.
No, you're good.
Come on.
Good, click.
Good
Nice.
girl.
Now see if you can get her to take 2 steps. One way, one the other. Good. Nice. Now see if you can get her to pivot again. Just with your body language. Yeah, very nice. Now see if you can get a couple more steps. Very good. Good.
Good girl.
So just keep playing with it. I'll let you take the reins now. Just make sure that if you make it a little bit harder, make it easy again.
Okay.
And if I see anything, I'll pause you. Hard to be keeping up with your clicks when I'm also telling you what to do them for. Good. Oh yeah, sorry.
I know.
She knows,
That's
even
how I
if I'm not paying attention, she is. Good.
Should I be waiting to pull out my treats? Because I feel like I'm holding it.
That's okay. Just try and make sure the thing that's consistently marking for the behavior that you want to see is the
Okay.
click,
Okay.
not some other behavior that you're doing. Good. Cool. I think you can raise criteria a little bit more fast and furious than that. Most people are too fast and furious. I have to make them be cautious. But it's nice to see someone who's taking their time. See if you can get, a little bit more.
I'm highly impressed because this is 10 steps better than she was on
Oh, yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, pretty soon you won't even need like a treat, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But at first, we're going to use high rate of reinforcement, especially if you had some negative associations in there. Good. Thanks for keeping me honest here, Maud.
I know, I was running out of treats trying to hang out with you there.
Yeah. Very good. You can also tell Gertie pins her ears when she's thinking. Like a lot of, like typically like a lot of like horse people talk about that as like they're like being stubborn or standoffish, but especially with mules and donkeys,
they're a lot more.
They think with their ears, and you just see
with their tails too.
Yeah, their tails too. Oh, I got you. You're such a good kid. You're just the sweetest little one. Cool. Let's do 1 or 2 more clicks and then call it a day. We don't need to get a ton today. And also, we're butting into Jake's time.
Oh.
Which is fine. It's all my fault for being late. I got caught in traffic. She does have that thing where, like, when she starts thinking and, like, wondering, and she has an oppositionary reflex. So if there's tension, she tries out pulling the other way. But it's fine. Just wait for her movement. And if you want to, I would try just, like I know that this is counterintuitive to a lot of what people do, but just like walk towards her and see if she'll move with you forward. She's just testing it out. Like, does this work?
Oh,
no? Okay, cool.
Good girl.
Great. So just give her, do one really easy one.
Okay.
Give her several treats at once and tell her she did a good job, and then we'll load them up. Are they going in this pen tonight?
No, they've been hanging out in Chinook's pen.
Okay, cool. We'll get them into Chinook's then. Good job, kid. And you can let her off lead.
Right.
They seem to go better loose anyway. I'm going to take this off for you. Oh, you did such a good job. You're so smart and beautiful. You're a genius. Oh, let's get your lead rope. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We're just going to pack up the donkeys. And then we'll get on to some dog training here with Jake in just a second. Make sure and tune back in. Give us like 5 to 10 minutes to get these donkeys away. Do you have any last
No, that
thoughts?
was awesome.
Cool.
I'm super impressed.
We'll try again next week, probably, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, I think I'm in for next week. Cool. Well, thanks again, everybody. See you in 5 to 10. Bye.